cloud. So let me first say welcome everybody from PV Schools. It's wonderful to have you aboard. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jeff Goldstein. I'm the Center Director for the National Center for Earth and Space Science Education. We oversee a number of large-scale STEM education programs, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm also the National Program Director for the Student Spaceflight Experiments Program, and that's what we're going to do training on today. And I'm also the program's creator, so I'm the best person to provide this training for every community that is new and is coming aboard. So let me tell you what we're going to do today. This is going to be videotaped, and everybody should have a copy of an agenda that I just sent out. And you'll notice that there are 7 sections on this agenda. So you can think of the training today as seven separate chapters. And what I'm going to do is every time we start a new chapter, I'm going to end the recording and start the recording. So what we'll be able to do is build up a library of recordings, one for each chapter. I can then put the links up on the website, send Pam a link to that main page, and you all can go to the specific video chapter that you want to based on what is written on the agenda. So does that all kind of make sense so far? And the next piece is, let me give you a sense of what we're going to talk about. So the first chapter, we're going to talk about how the Student Spaceflight Experiment Program works, and what are its objectives. The second chapter, I'm going to talk about the critical timeline, so all the deadlines and milestones associated with this program, and how it will be implemented at PV Schools. So I think that Pam can help inform me how you all think this is going to be implemented, and I can give you some kind of guidelines for that. The next thing we're going to do is talk about classic experiment design. And by the way, how many of you are teachers of science? Raise your hands high. See? How many of you are not? Okay, so Sophie, you're okay. Everybody's a teacher of science. So what that means is I'm going to be kind of just getting everybody on the same page, but preaching to the choir, because you all know what classic experiment design is, but we're going to go over that. How many of you have experience in any kind of microgravity experiments? Raise your hands high. Okay, so what that means is that this next chapter, chapter 4, what is a microgravity experiment, is really important because your students are going to be designing microgravity experiments. And so I have to demystify that for you so that you feel comfortable about facilitating microgravity experiment design in the classroom. And I can tell you that it is classic experiment design with a little twist. So it's very straightforward to understand that. We're then going to talk about mini lab operation because all experiments need to be designed for use in this flight certified, easy to use mini laboratory. And then I'm going to provide you 5 ways that you can get students to think about what kind of microgravity experiment they may want to design. And finally, we're going to go over the website navigation very carefully because that's where all of the curricular resources, in fact, all the resources to conduct this program are housed. So has everybody got an understanding of what we're going to cover today? Does anybody have any burning? And I think I like the thumbs up. So if I ask a question, give me a thumbs up because as you know, teachers need that kind of feedback. So teachers, have pity on me as your teacher for this 2.5 plus professional development. And when we get into classic experiment design, I don't want to just give you the information, but I want to model best teaching practices. So it's going to be an audience participation situation where I'm going to ask leading questions and you're going to answer. And the hope is that if I choose the right leading questions, you can deliver the story that I want to deliver so that you have a vested interest in telling this story. You have a vested interest in the learning experience. Does anybody have any burning questions out of the gate that you want to make sure I answer that might not be covered in the chapters I just talked about? I don't think so. Okay, so what I'm going to do, consistent with what I said before, is I am going to, wait a second, hang on. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.